Well, happy Victory Monday to all of you, and welcome to Let's Talk Broncos. Bree Maces, Joey Richard, Zach Seegers. Guys, big weekend in Colorado for the sports community, especially football. What a weekend. Are we still celebrating? Are we still excited?
I mean, CU Broncos football. Yeah, I celebrate it all. Who knows how long it will last? Hopefully, a long time. Hopefully, this is the start of something brilliant and great, but maybe not. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the most of it.
See, this is Zach Seegers yet again coming here on this podcast with the negative energy. Somehow this positive energy turned negative. Hopefully it continues. Maybe not. Probably not.
I didn't say
Craziness.
that. You're
We are
saying that.
happy right now.
You're saying that.
We need to
I'm
get him out of here.
incredibly happy. I'm soaking up every moment of it. Yeah, don't worry about tomorrow. At the Kyle Shanahan, we might all be dead tomorrow.
um, I will put it out there though. Zach has been the optimistic one out of the group. If you take a look back, and I'm going to bring it up just simply because I want Zach Seegers to look you all straight in the eyes and tell you that he picked the Denver Broncos to win on Sunday with a full heart and a complete sense of he actually thought that was going to happen. So Zach, go ahead and take it away and celebrate your win.
Yeah, it was good. Some people will claim I was motivated because I didn't want the LTB graphic to be all Buccaneers logos and have us get mercilessly dunked on by all of Broncos Twitter for, 24, 48 hours. Some people will claim that. Those claims are entirely fabricated and not true. I've long believed the Broncos were going to upset the Buccaneers. If you go back and watch our Wednesday preview, fast forward to the score prediction bit, take my word for it, please. I picked the Broncos. So I long believed in this take. Really, I am the only Broncos fan. I'm the only guy who also sees the truth, sees what's going to happen before it happens. Some people call me an oracle, but I would never say that myself. But glad it worked out. Glad I could help the Broncos. I will say this though, from the jump, I'm picking the Broncos this week. Don't worry, everybody. That 3 for 3 so far this season. Your boy's picking the Broncos this week.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you guys should have seen the behind the scenes on why he picked this, but I won't blow the spot up. Will not blow the spot up.
I don't think they have any idea.
The oracle, some may say, one person may say. Yeah, no, I'm happy you did. I think we all have to do that. We have to put the graphic out there again with us picking everybody but the Broncos, except for Zach until they lose. I think, or until they win.
And Carter also.
Carter also.
He went in with me on it.
Yeah, Carter and didn't Mario didn't.
Mario was Bucks. Everyone was Bucks. Mario is actually saying, and I might, follow him with this. He's going to keep picking against the Broncos until they lose, because hey, why not? That strategy seems to be working for him, and I'll go the other way. When I pick them to lose, they lose. When I pick them to win, they win. I'll keep picking them to win until that goes wrong.
Christopher Hart with the word on the street. Was Joey wasn't first today. What happened to the hustle? Listen, I posted it. I felt bad for putting everybody on basically blast today. I got lost on a 2-hour hike into the wilderness, and I still made it back and on the stream before everybody. So I wanted to be known. I had to delete the post though, because I didn't realize that I was inviting everyone onto the show today. Don't need that for the Monday episode, although it would be great to see the victory dances of everyone. However, yes, Zach, most of the Twitter feed was upset with the Let's Talk Broncos crew for their predictions. I did not. Yeah. I mean, that's rightfully so. I'm never going to tell people how to fan. Light us up, mention us, quote tweet us even. And while you're there, follow us so you can see more of our antics over on the LTB podcast over on Twitter. And if you're not already following us, what's your problem? LTB _ Joey, Maces 303, and Zach _ Seegers. We'll get started here. I just want to really quickly run through our bold predictions. I guess neither of you took me up on my rushing yards for the Denver Broncos. I at least thought they would have a good run game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right. I didn't realize that they were going to be so efficient on the offense in general. This was a dominating and convincing game for the Denver Broncos. And I know they're going up against the Jets. We'll jump into a preview for Wednesday's game. But how did you guys fare? I obviously wasn't here last week. Joey, what was your bold? Do you remember your bold prediction, and how did it pan out?
We don't remember. This is up to Zach to keep track of this stuff. I don't remember my own bold prediction at all. It was really good though, and I wouldn't be shocked if it hit, much like a lot of them do.
I admittedly don't know Joey's off the top of my head. I know Breeze. I know mine. I have to go back and chart all these three. The tradition of this game states that I typically do it 2 years after the fact, but I think I might try and keep up with it throughout the season. This go around. That'll be a good project for me for once we get off this show. Mine, not so lucky, but I'm so also. Let me restart this. Horribly unlucky on my pick. I predicted Riley Moss would have a lower passer rating allowed when targeted than Patrick Surtain, and he would have if Baker Mayfield and Chris Godwin didn't pull off that incredible touchdown play. And he had perfect coverage on it. He's right there. Just like the week 1 Seahawks play where he got beat on. I feel bad for Riley Moss on that. And then he gets like the bad PI call in week 2. The plays he's lost have been the result of like bad luck, I feel. But anyways,
excuses every week from this guy. Anyways,
but played a great game. I will say, even in terms of like the spirit of the competition, I was way wrong. Patrick Surtain balled out against Mike Evans, covered him for 24 of 34 snaps on those 24 routes rather that Mike Evans ran. He has 1 reception for 8 yards. I mean, that's an incredible, just crazy lockdown performance from Pat Surtain. I think you're really, really happy with that. What is that, like 0.03 yards per route run? Just locked him down, made him a non-factor. And then the other 10 snaps when he wasn't, or other 10 routes when he wasn't on Mike Evans, didn't allow a single target. He was a true like Darrelle Revis, Champ Bailey era shutdown corner where he took away half the field or, his portion of the field on any given play. And that was pretty sweet to see.
Yeah, no, I think Patrick Surtain was amazing. I thought like the entire secondary. Zach, I won't lie. I was just saying that you have excuses. You usually do have excuses here on this podcast, but that one I'll give you.
I was using it as a segue into some Patrick Surtain analysis.
No, Joey. This was excuses. This is what you do here on this podcast. The people see it. We see right through you.
So why? I didn't.
Go ahead, Brie.
I didn't mean to shake the beehive and start the bickering this early on a Monday, but I'm here for it, guys. Let's do the whole stock up, stock down. In general, what's the matter there, Zach Seegers?
We just had a comment about James Cook scoring a touchdown. I'm like, wait, Monday? Yeah, that's right. We have the weird Monday Night Football doubleheader thing. So our whole plan of dodging Monday Night Football didn't even quite work out. Yeah, live and learn.
Scott, you know what? I won my fantasy game. Thank you.
We can only do so much here to be prepared. We were, however, not 5 minutes late. We were only 3 minutes late. So take that. And it wasn't my fault this time. So Joey, in your fucking face, let's get to it. Stock up. I remember here on the pod as we were doing our bold predictions for the entire regular season, my breakout candidate was going to be Zach Allen. It looks like, and you guys all said, wow, that's interesting considering the big year he just came off of. Well, now he's, second in the running for most pressures through 3 weeks, and he looks like an absolute beast. Let's stock up the entire defense, but is there anyone else you guys want to highlight for the absolute monumental showcase that they've been putting on for this regular season for the Broncos? Now that the offense is doing their work, the defense doesn't have to struggle too much, but it's been a really exciting time. Brandon Jones, anybody? Let's talk about it. Zach Seegers, why are the Denver Broncos defense specifically? And then if you want to jump into someone and highlight them individually, please go ahead and feel free to do so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Focusing on the defense to start. The Zach Allen pick's a great one. Second in the league in pressures. That is amazing. And then number 1 against all interior pass rushers. He's now 1 ahead of Dexter Lawrence. It's pretty, and it's sustained through 3 games. I don't know. I don't think these are like 3 super suspect offensive lines either. He's working against Graham Barton on that interior. Cody Mock. And these were hard sacks too. I think PFF only credited the offensive line with giving up one of them. Like they were ones that took a while for the Broncos to get into the down. You saw Baker running around a lot. But one thing that surprised me from this game, Baker Mayfield ends with 0 rushing yards. It felt like he was constantly running towards the line of scrimmage. Every single time he did that, they got him before he broke the line of scrimmage. 7 sacks, first time since 2019. Allen collapsing these pockets from the inside is a big reason why. But not just him. The Broncos had 4 interior defensive linemen. Allen, Jordan Jackson, DJ Jones, and Malcolm Roach, Freudian slip there, with north of 10% pass rush win rate. Outside of those 4, tops on the team was Nick Benito with a 9.5% pass rush win rate. So those interior guys were just crushing Baker Mayfield. And what we know about short quarterbacks during our Russell Wilson exposure, they need the interior of the pocket to be stable, and the Broncos were not letting that happen.
Yeah, no, the Broncos interior was amazing that game. Zach Allen was awesome, like you said. Even Vance Joseph dialing up the blitzes to cause pressures up the interior with middle linebackers or, middle linebacker safeties, whatever it may be. Even if you were to look, corners had pressures. Like Vance Joseph was dialing it up that game. Frankie Abbott of Let's Talk Broncos posted a great clip of Baker Mayfield's pick and just everything they did in that game to cause that. Vance Joseph, Zach, you look so concerned right now.
Unmute yourself first. There you go.
I know.
Good job.
I'm
proud of
and
you.
it's being difficult. Okay. The people he's tied with on the pressure list is, or the person he's tied with on the pressures list is Micah Parsons. He's behind Aiden Hutchinson because Hutchinson had, just an unreal start to the season. He's already hit 7-8 sacks or whatever. But behind Aiden Hutchinson, it's Micah Parsons and Zach Allen tied. That is insane to think about.
Someone let PFF know, by the way. Can someone do that?
Charting.
Yeah, no. The guys that grade the plays, can someone let them know? Because can they use their own stats, please? Can we figure that out? Why is he one of the worst Broncos defenders every week? Why is that the case on their little grading scale? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I hate
you get mad and quote tweet them?
Yeah, no, and I will. I probably am one of them. I'm here for it. Then Patrick Surtain too. They hate Patrick Surtain right now this year. They hate Zach Allen this year. I don't get it. I don't like PFF at all right now. Not a fan.
The only player at any position in the NFL with a worse run defense grade, and my eyes do not agree with this at all, but this is coming from argument here. The lowest, the only player that's played a comparable amount of snaps to Zach Allen and has a worse run defense grade is Kenneth Murray with the Titans right now, who is, knowing from his time with the Chargers, a horrible run defender. I cannot believe that those are the 2 worst run defenders in the NFL playing substantial snaps for their team. I just don't believe that at all.
No. PFF sucks. Their grading scale sucks. Let's just call it a buck. Let's do it. That was not good. They're terrible. Zach Allen was awesome, though. So shout out to him. Don't believe that grade, man. That was crazy.
Yes.
That was so crazy. And then, like you said, Nick Benito, too, from your exterior, he was whooping that tackle's butt the entire night, it felt. Like, it was quick pressures, too. Forcing him up into a pocket that was collapsing a lot. So shout out to Nick Benito and the pressure they were doing, and then especially Vance Joseph for causing a lot of pressures that didn't even come from those guys. Like I said earlier, corners, linebackers, other stuff like that.
Agreed. I think it's very exciting to see what Vance Joseph is willing to do to create more pressures for this Denver Broncos defense. Zach Seegers, I see your finger up.
Yeah, Vance Joseph with the pressures. It's crazy. He's at a rate dramatically higher than anyone else in the league. I put out a tweet about that. I probably should have gotten that graphic ready, but he's blitzing on 50% of dropbacks. And, I think the next most is like 40%. Like he is in his own stratosphere, even compared to like the Brian Floreses of the world. They're not being the most efficient with their ability to create pressure out of that. But some of that's also like what charting service you look at. Pro Football Reference thinks they are middle of the pack in terms of pressure rate. NFL Pro thinks they're top 2, top 3 in the league in terms of pressure rate created. So, tough to, in my opinion, really judge that aspect. He is just going ham. He's playing, I think I just saw a comment about it. He's playing like a kid on Madden, just engage 8 every single play. There's a play in this game where he has like 7 people on the line of scrimmage and backs off 5 of them and leaves a 2-man pass rush. He was just
that was crazy.
devilish stuff.
And on that play, Zach, when we only rushed 2, we got a tip at the line of scrimmage. What a ridiculous play that was. Dropping back defensive tackles, the whole situation. DJ Jones back there in hook zones. Don't throw it his way. He might, Zach, have the best coverage grade of the game. Shout out to PFF.
For real. And getting back in this style of defense, I think has been a huge boon for someone like Brandon Jones. A very promising player, I think, his first couple years in the league. Year 3 gets sidelined by injury. Year 4, he's in this Vic Fangio defense that is kind of like a polar opposite this Vance Joseph stuff. That really struggles in it. As a result, the Broncos are able to get him on a very, very cheap contract. And now you see him balling out. 2 takeaways on his own in this game. Riley Moss deserves some credit for it too, with his big hit to force that fumble. But read that interception the whole way. That was a great play from him. Yeah, I mean, Brandon Jones, I'm hyped to see him making plays. PJ Locke too.
Yeah, totally.
Just highlight everybody across the board, because I think what's really standing out to me is that every single young player and secondary player, I mean, on the depth chart, has come in and made something out of the opportunity that's been bestowed upon them. So very exciting things. And I know everyone's riding high right now as you watch along. So if you're over on Twitter, jump on over to YouTube, get involved in the chat, throw some spurs at Joey for picking the Buccaneers to win. He was wrong.
So
don't mind. I don't think we need to talk about me. So I'm going to go ahead and drive this in the other direction. Like the stream, come on over, share it with your grandmother, text somebody, and just send them the link so that they're very supremely shocked when they check their phone as to why you're sending them Broncos content. But we're excited. Guys, I'm really excited that we're actually talking about something good right now. It felt like we were laying into the old adage of the defense looks good, the offense is having a hard time keeping up. So today's a really special episode because I don't feel so terrible about this Denver Broncos team right now. Could that change post haste when it comes to Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets? Yes, absolutely. But we're not there yet. This is Monday. That's Wednesday's job. Joey, give me your stock up if it's not already been covered in the defense here for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, we're 17, almost 18 minutes into the podcast, and no one's mentioned Bo Nix as their stock up. I don't know what the hell.
He doesn't play defense. He doesn't play defense.
Yeah, we should have said Bo Nix right from the beginning. The Vance Joseph development is great. Woo! Starting quarterback in Colorado.
Okay.
Bo Nix. That's who we should be talking about here. That he looked as calm, cool, collected as we've seen him. And I've said it a million times on Twitter now. Calm, cool, or just taking week by week improvements. Like that's what we want to see there from Bo Nix. And that's what we've seen every week, I feel. I feel like from first week to second week, it was maybe a smaller improvement. It just looked like he was more comfortable. This week, it was like, okay, now your feet are looking a little better than they were before. Now you're being a little more decisive with the football. The accuracy isn't all over the place. Bo Nix played a much better game in game 3. And this is what it's all about. I feel like there were way too many people doing victory laps online, especially from our national media. So many people doing victory laps about, I told you Bo Nix wasn't good. I told you Bo Nix wasn't good after 2 weeks into his rookie season. 2 weeks into his rookie season, and comes back and has this performance. Has anyone seen any national media people, analysts, talk about Bo Nix yet? I feel like it's extinct. When he had a bad game, we were all talking about why we stop all of a sudden.
I think Colin Cowherd was having some complimentary things even while he was struggling.
I said real analysts. Keyword.
I'll say Cowherd has been fairly tight with Sean Payton, and I think was pro Bo Nix throughout the process. I think the media what consensus that was very low on Bo, or not consensus, but majority that was very low on Bo Nix. The Nate Tice's, Benjamin Solak's, Mina Kimes, Stephen Ruiz. I don't think there's been any eating of crow there, which if you look at their metrics, their go-to metrics here, everyone knows that chart with CPOE and EPA per play. Bo Nix most accurately compares to Jared Goff so far this season. Right now, he's a little more accurate than Goff and creating a little more EPA per play than Goff. But that's the closest bubble to him. The next closest bubble would be CJ Stroud. So fine. And this is all, he's in the middle cluster. It's not like he's up at the top by where those guys were last year. They've come back to the pack, but he's absolutely fine. He's leaps and bounds above of where Caleb Williams is. Jaden Daniels, these metrics like him a lot better, but for all the critiques we're hearing about Bo Nix's air yards, Jaden Daniels has nothing. I mean, if you watch the Washington Commanders offense right now, Jaden Daniels has a 2.3 average time to throw. That is bananas. Tua was like blowing everyone's mind these past couple seasons at like 2.7. They are snapping the ball and he is throwing a dang bubble screen or he's scrambling. It's one of the two. And right now that's working for him. I'm curious to see how he adapts as defensive coordinators start taking that away. But Bo Nix has been and I'm looking at all 3 weeks when I say this. If you look at just last week, he was top 5, top 6 quarterback in week 3 so far. But even looking at how ugly those first 2 games are, quarterback play, passing offenses as a whole are so down this year. We know this. EPA per play, middle of the pack right now through 3 weeks. Totally acceptable for a rookie campaign, especially given all the things we said weeks 1 and 2 about the surrounding talent, supporting cast still rings true. None of that's changed really. They've tinkered with the formula some. Still a very depleted roster, and they're getting him to the middle of the pack, unlike someone like Caleb Williams, who has a loaded roster around him. Factor in, last point, they played the top 2 defenses in the league weeks 1 and weeks 2 in terms of EPA per play allowed against the pass. So maybe they just ran into a buzzsaw the first 2 weeks of the season. I think Nick Kendall was making this point. Maybe they just ran into an absolute buzzsaw the first 2 weeks of the season, and now we're going to see the offense rolling a lot more efficiently.
I hope so. I do hope that's it. And I think that plays a part. I do. I mean, talk about what a bad environment for a rookie quarterback to step in right away against those 2 teams, Zach. But honestly, I don't want to chalk it up all to that because there has been improvements in his game. And I've seen it. I've seen it with his feet, like in just how he deals in footwork and just with his accuracy downfield and his willingness to pull the trigger downfield accurately. Like he was throwing it and there were opportunities. I can't just put it all to that because Frankie and Robbie, they do a great job on full field read. They were showing it. Opportunities are available there for Bo Nix, and he just was not hitting it consistently, whether it be late, whether he be gun shy, whether his feet are too all over the place, whatever it may be. But this week he was more. So I think it's kind of a mix of those both. It's just kind of a mix. And I want to see the improvements, and that's what he's done. That's my main point. I don't want to put it all to, hey, it was just the 2 opponents he played to begin with. He has to know. This is crazy. Zach, you've been muted for like...
God damn it, dude. Oh, I was feeling so good after the last time I was on with Bree having her mute. Or actually, it was the last Monday show. Last Monday show, I was flawless. Bree muting herself. And then tonight, I am ice cold. Just Absolutely terrible.
Zach, everybody loves it. So you just gave the people what they wanted. Don't you worry about it. They're riding high
Oh
again.
my God. No, that was amazing. That was the best one, Zach.
That was terrible. Oh yeah, we've definitely seen good improvements. The downfield throwing or accuracy was a lot better. First 2 weeks, 5 of 25 downfield, and that's not just cornerbacks making great plays on the ball. To your point, Joey,
Yeah.
we saw it. We all saw it. There was a lot of inaccurate passes there. He had 4 interceptions those first 2 weeks on throws 10+ yards to 5 completions. This week he goes 4 of 9, 0 interceptions.
Yeah, no, totally. That's the only thing I think. Yeah, like you said, it's a mix. It's a mix of both those things, and you laid it out very, very good there, Zach.
Thank you. And it's slowing down for him. That's the other thing I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, redemption.
Can't be for real. This podcast, guys.
Man.
Well, guys, I have
redemption.
to mute myself because there's about to be a loud commotion, so I had to mute myself, and it's fine. Whatever. Who cares? Now
I
I'm just
do.
mad. Yeah, of course you would, because you make a fool out of yourself every single show.
Oh my
Except for the last
God.
one you were on. Anyway, so
It's rubbing
Bonus is
off on the rest
confident.
of us.
I'm just getting mad and mean at this point. I don't mean to be
Contaminated.
mean. I'm not a mean person. And listen, this show does things to me, in which it brings out a combativeness I didn't know that I had, and a competition based mindset that I really thought that I had squashed way back when. Anyways, Ponix's confidence, and like you said, Zach, is what I was trying to piggyback off of, is the ability for it to slow down a little bit more. Maybe there's a little less stress in the ear because the defenses weren't as scary as they were in week 1 and week 2. Just in general, I think it has been a lot better to see. And I wanted to point back to me saying that I was on Broncos Country Night last week saying I don't think Bo Nix is broken. I don't think there's a Bo Nix flaw or problem. I think there's just a rough uptake right now, and we're seeing kind of the worst of it, which wasn't reassuring for anyone. But I'm really glad to see that this has changed direction and hopefully continues to show more exponential growth. The LTB Muse says mute days. Cody Daly said Mondays are great, and we are now changing the show to mute days Monday. So thank you all for your participation. Honestly, your guys' support gets us through it, because had we not had anyone watching, I think I just would have panicked, hit the end stream button, and went on my merry way to go watch some Monday Night Football. Joey alluded to earlier, we have a lot of other shows here on the network, so if you want to check it out, Full Field Read coming at you later on this week. We'll be back on Wednesdays. I'm not ending the show. I'm just going through my B-roll here. Altitude Adjustments on Tuesdays. And we've got a Buffs show. So if you're a Buffs fan, or maybe you just like some Colorado football talk, a Coach Prime aficionado, go on over to Let's Talk Buffs. It's an entirely different YouTube channel. Or you can go ahead and catch us over on the Twitter. Let's Talk Buffs. All right, back at it. Zach Seegers, anything else you want to cover in the stock up portion of the show?
Yeah, I mean, no, actually, I take it back. I think they're all going to be covered in stock down. I take it back.
All right. Well, I know that there was a ton of positivity to take from the Broncos game on Sunday. Listen, beating the Bucs is no small feat. Convincingly so is another statement. And to start off that quickly, there's a lot of positives to be had. And honestly, I would feel like I'd be reaching to say that there was a whole lot of negatives or stock downs. So I'm going to throw it to you guys. Zach, I'm going to hit the momentum with you right back at you. Give me your first stock down from the game on Sunday.
I'm pulling one out of here right at the jump right now. I didn't plan this one. I'm feeling it in the moment. All the people that tried to dance on Sean Payton's grave a little too early. I was a little in this camp too. I was a little close. I was like, man, he might not have it anymore. I don't know. This is a little concerning. In the back of my head, I was like, this is concerning. I still have the faith, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of doubt out there. It's starting to get to me a little. I think these are good concepts. I think the offense is being called well, and it's just not clicking so far. Look what happens. The quarterback plays well, and boom, boom, it looks great. It's a great offensive attack. I think we can still quibble with the red zone production, but I'm all here for that. But man, they absolutely turned this offense around. I thought it was much better called. I think he's made the necessary adaptations. Look at our review show from week 1. We're talking about needing to get more speed players on the field. Marvin Mims, season high 25% of snaps played against the Bucs. Troy Franklin, 25% of snaps played against the Bucs. They're doing it, people. And then Vance Joseph, we already talked about how he's cooking up on defense. The offensive line played a lot better. Turning around some coaching aspects there. So yeah, I'm feeling the coaching staff again. My faith wavered for a minute there, but I didn't dance on the grave. All you that started doing a cha-cha looking silly right now.
Listen, I didn't post anything on the feed. I don't think Joey did either. So why don't you calm down just a little bit? I know you're not talking directly to me, but I'm taking it personal. I'm going to out myself. It was
You're
a little
not the target.
It was a little sketchy, Zach Seegers. It was a little sketch, Joey.
Can I add to the criticism? So I think there are criticisms. I think, and Zach and I have disagreed on this privately multiple times. I do think there are some flaws in just how this offense is built and stuff like that. And I think that is like an easy thing to sit there and be like, that's a flaw, right? I can sit there and look at that, and that's easy to diagnose and understand. When it comes down to play calling, man, I am the type where if someone is telling me play calling's wrong, it's not anything we can look at on the broadcast angle. That's one. We can't do that. That human being is probably going to have to show me their work. You guys remember when the math teacher made you show your work, and it didn't matter if you got the answer right or wrong. You had to show your work for it to count. That's how I am about scheme and play calling criticisms, really. Like, unless it's, hey, he ran instead of pass, don't tell me about hey, why is there so many short passes when you can't even see the wide receiver all the way on the right side? Like, you have no idea what he's doing. You know what I mean? So I just think I just think that that's important for fans to realize, and that's why I always recommend Robbie and Frankie on what they do, because they're breaking down these plays play by play and telling you about them, like from a different angle, and just having a better understanding than I think a lot of people have. There's no shame in not understanding it either. Like, I don't have the greatest understanding of every play call that happens. I don't. I think I have somewhat of an understanding, but if I'm sitting there looking at the screen, I'm not going to be able to tell you the name of that play every time and tell you exactly where that ball should have went. That's not me. So I don't think there's any shame in the game not knowing either. Just something to throw out there.
And some of the critiques, I'm sorry, they aren't backed up by evidence. You know, well, they fixed the personnel groupings. No, they didn't. The best drive of the day was the first one by far. They have 6 plays on that drive, 4 different personnel groupings. It was their drive with the most switching of personnel groupings. So it wasn't like that was the problem. And they fixed that. It was coaching all along. I really think, guys, it's a rookie quarterback, and it's okay that against 2 good defenses, he didn't, also the whole offense, but it's okay he didn't have his best day. How many offenses over the last decade have we seen get sunk by suspect quarterback play? I don't expect that to be the case. Everything we just said about Bo Nix rings true. We're seeing improvement, but I don't know. I just think I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it. The other one, like air yards. He finally opened up and got aggressive. This is Bo Nix's lowest ADOT of the season. He was closer to the line of scrimmage. It was more conservative. Even if we want to say, well, that's because of game script. Slightly more aggressive in the first half, like by half a yard. Do we think the difference in that we just saw from the Broncos having one of the worst offensive performances we ever saw to one of the best offensive performances of the last decade of Broncos football? Like, come on, what do we think that was? Do we think it was half a yard further in the air, 1.5 foot further in the air on average for the first half? That's what did it. I highly doubt that. I think that is a crazy take.
Fair enough. I think you made some compelling points there on why other people should be stocked down. I like the pettiness as well, Zach. I'm here for it.
All right, tell us who those other people or other things are, Joey, on the stock down. Highlight one for me.
I'll answer the question, maybe a little more true to the question than Zach. I like Zach's creativity. I didn't come up with it that way, though. I think I'm going to go with Javonte Williams is my big stock down for this game. I mean, the fumble sucked, and he was pass protecting really well after I sat down and watched the film. Did have the fumble. I don't think that's something really to worry about going in the future, though. It's not like Javonte's been a huge fumbler in his career. So one, you excuse it. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. It's more so just still, and we're working later now, right? This was now something you were hoping to see an improvement from after his rookie year. He got hurt the sophomore, came back last year, didn't get better in it, and then is looking the same in this year. The vision still is not good. It's really not good, and it hurts this Broncos run game pretty substantially when he carries the ball. He just doesn't have the ability to be one of the best tackle breakers we've ever seen anymore. He can still be damn good at it and not be an effective football player because the vision just holds him back that much. And it is really a big deal. The Broncos need to figure out that position, especially when you've invested so much in this offensive line, and especially at guys that are known to be really good run blockers, and we still can't get a run game going. That's not good. You need to have a more of effective running back there. I don't know if that guy's on the roster, if I'm being honest. So it may not be this year. Tyler Beatty showed something a little bit. Sure, let's try it out. I think Jalil's a pretty big tell, if I'm being honest. Fun and an exciting player, though, and definitely has a role on the team. They just don't have that down-to-down guy. I don't know, at least. Estime is one that I have circled and I really want to see more of this year just because of how excited I was after watching him at Notre Dame. His college tape was fantastic, literally fantastic. So I want to see Estime back in there and carry the rock a little bit because I think this offense does have potential to be an effective run unit. I really do. It feels like the offensive line is off a little bit. One guy screws the play up, and then the running backs aren't hitting the hole the way you want. That's my take there. And yeah, it's just disappointing so far.
If you combine Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin's carries this year, it's 42 carries for 92 yards. If you look at what Tyler Beatty has done this year, it's 86 yards on 10 carries. It's astounding. It's almost quadruple in terms of yards per carry over what McLaughlin and Javonte are offering. Great touchdown by Jaleel McLaughlin, but to what Joey said, he's part of this problem too in the backfield right now. It's been horribly inefficient. And then Tyler Beatty, again, 10 carries isn't a big sample size, but it's not that different than Javonte Williams 24 at this point. I think it's to the point where, okay, this is a much better option. Now that's getting buoyed pretty heavily by the 43-yard rush. Let's take that out of it. You get 9 carries for 43 yards. That's more than double the yards per carry that Jaleel McLaughlin and Javonte Williams are offering. He has 2 carries of 16 yards or longer in those first 10 carries. Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin don't have a single one yet. They only have 1 carry. Those two combined on their 42 attempts, only once has a carry gone past 10 yards. Again, Tyler Beatty's done that twice in 10 touches. Maybe this totally crashes once we see more of a sample size on it. The Broncos have to explore it. And no one's going to have a 20% explosive run rate. I know that. But it should be, right now, it seems dramatically better than Jaleel McLaughlin and Javonte Williams. And they need to at least explore that. If it crashes, but it needs to be explored.
I agree, Zach. I do have hesitation there, though, because I do feel like I feel like if the Broncos thought that Tyler Beatty was the dude, they would really explore that more. And my kind of counter to this is we see a lot of running backs in a small sample look really good, but once the defense starts getting a key on them, how they are as a runner, it slows down substantially. We saw it with Jaleel. Like, that's the perfect example. Jaleel, who remembers Alexander Madison? When he was backing up Dalvin Cook and got spot starts, he was tremendous. The moment he started having to actually start for a season, that crashed so damn quick. I do agree with you that they may have to explore it, and there is some hope there. My just pushback would be like, this isn't his first year on the Broncos. He's been around Sean Payton, yet this is the first time he's getting an opportunity, part of this team. And it really wasn't that big of an opportunity. It was still, hey, Javonte and Jaleel, and then a tiny bit of Tyler Beatty. So that's my only pushback there. Just once teams get a beat on him, that could change drastically.
I totally screwed it up at the start, so I'll just say bidet, as we all learned.
No, it's not actually. They interviewed him in the locker room, and they said,
But the team updated it today.
I could have sworn he told him in the locker room that
I
he
saw
did.
the video. Okay, I'm so confused.
Someone did some research and found some old one, and they were like, "Is it Tyler Batty or Tyler Beatty?" And he was like, "It's Beatty."
No, I know. He changed the pronunciation. Like the bidet is the new pronunciation.
But then the weird thing is, when he was to address
He's
that,
doing
after
this
the
to
game,
screw
when
with
he was
us.
asked, he said it was Beatty. So I don't. It's confusing. Whatever his name is, pronounce it RB1 at least for now.
Whatever your name is, still gonna work here. Probably gonna start. Guys, anything else you wanted to throw out there for stock up, stock down?
My more real one, because Joey was right, I was a little fraudulent with the other. Stock down, Josh Reynolds and Greg Dulcich. Josh Reynolds, 80% of snaps in week 1, 4 out of 5 plays on the field for him. Week 3, 51%. In week 2, it was like 67. So a pretty steep and consistent decline through 3 weeks. Greg Dulcich played 67% of snaps in week 1. He is down to, I think, 20 some in week 2. I forget that one off the top of my head. 20 something, 30 something. He's at like 25 now, which is huge. So he's way off the field, or kind of getting played out of the offense. Where are these snaps going to? I alluded to the Mims and Franklin being out there for 25% of snaps. That's a lot of it. A lot of it's also, at least on the tight end front with Dulcich, Troutman is now the tight end, playing 68, 70% of snaps. So to something that we talked about, I think a little in the offseason about, or I guess preseason, when Dulcich was really getting everyone excited, we briefly mentioned the idea of like, could he end up being the starting receiver? And it was like, no, it's not going to fight with Sean Payton. It kind of looks like they gave him a shot at it in week 1. And, I think halfway through week 2, during his drop of Palooza, they were like, this is not happening anymore. And so it looks like Troutman.
I agree with you on the Dulcich one. I kind of disagree with you stock down for Reynolds. I think that definitely is a stat. I think more than it has to do with Reynolds' performances, though, it's just Sean Payton realizing he needs different skill sets out there. And I don't think that has anything to do with Reynolds as a football player. I think it's more to do with, hey, we really need speed. So I'm gonna play Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and this is gonna be a lot more of a rotation. Courtland Sutton, he's still better than Reynolds. So who is this going to be pulled from? It's going to be pulled from Reynolds. It's not indicative of the player he is. It's indicative of the lack of skill sets they have available. And all of them being kind of one type of guy. It's Lil Jordan Humphrey, Josh Reynolds, Courtland Sutton. And then you have to infuse some speed in there, and I think that's more of the reason.
I agree, but I think that's still stock down for Josh Reynolds. It might not entirely be his fault, but the fact he can't offer as much after the catch as Little Jordan Humphrey off the practice squad, that is a part of the reason his snap percentage is going way down. Also, I don't disagree that it's other mitigating factors, but the outlook for Josh Reynolds is considerably worse now, playing only half the snaps than it was playing 80% of the snaps. And Devon Villay was healthy in week 1. He's missed weeks 2 and week 3 when we've seen his snap production crater. Is he going to be playing 40, 30% of the snaps once Villay comes back? Maybe Villay just takes from Little Jordan Humphrey, but I think, to your point, it's going to continue to be more and more of a rotation. And any way you slice it, going from playing 4 out of 5 snaps to 1 out of 2 is a big decline.
Fair. I just I think the only thing is like the player that's caught the deep passes in both games has been Josh Reynolds. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with this performance. I really don't. I agree with you on just like the opportunity. The framing of Josh Reynolds stock down, I disagree with, because nothing he's done on the field would indicate that. I don't think the Broncos signed him to be a yards after catch guy. That's just more of a flaw in how they built the team.
Well, I want to ask you if it was a playmaking, play calling ability too that might be eating into the yak conversation. Have you guys changed your position on that at all? Do you think that the design of the offense is not about that being a priority?
Yeah, I think Sean Payton offenses in the past, yak from your wide receivers really has not been a priority. He's had some guys that can create yak, but you can tell through the teams he's created that it hasn't been a priority. I mean, we can look. They drafted Brandon Cooks in the first round, right? He was an awesome yak guy when he came out of Oregon State. They traded him 2 years later, like stuff like that. They just aren't that type of team. And that was kind of my issue with how they did it. They were incorporating some Bo Nix stuff that needs yards after catch guys while still running wide receivers that would more traditionally be in your Sean Payton offense. That was my big criticism at the beginning. And yeah, I think that's what you're seeing is just him realizing that and incorporating it. Not only are we seeing Marvin Mims, now we're seeing Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin did nothing this offseason. And looks okay out there right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
You disagree?
No. We found it. Sorry. I totally went blank for a second. We've seen the yak thing with Joe Lombardi, Pete Carmichael last year in New Orleans, Dallas prior to McCarthy taking over play calling. Those were consistent problems with all of them. So I think there's definitely some truth to the Sean Payton scheme thing. I agree with Joey there.
Yeah. Okay.
I also think I also think Sean Payton has morphed what he's doing a fair bit with Bo Nix. I think you're seeing him move the pocket a lot more, for example, than you have before. Like Bo Nix, one of the most things he did best in college was RPOs. They're running a lot more RPOs. I do think you're seeing, especially these last 2 weeks, more routes that get guys on the move. But yes, it's also still a factor for sure. It's at the root of where this offensive system comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Joey with the and that's it, and that was the only thing that you were going to contribute there at the end. That's fine. Threw me for a loop.
Bree texted us in the chat. She's like, "We got to wrap up shortly." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh yeah, we do. Sorry.
So yeah, that was a good 8 minutes ago. Anyways, anything else you guys wanted to talk about from that Buccaneers game before we head to the Wednesday prediction extravaganza?
No, I think that's all I had for stock ups and stock down.
Zach, do you want to throw out a third I'm serious stock down? Yeah.
I would love to, but no, I'm happy. Go Broncos. I'm feeling good. Fingers crossed this week. I'm excited for our preview show. I've already got some notes.
Yes, Hammer, it's my fault we're not getting a 12-hour show. You know what? That's fine. If you never forgive me, I think I'll get over it. Have yourselves a great rest of your evening. Enjoy Monday Night Football. We'll be back. Let's Talk Broncos. We'll be back as a trio on Wednesday. Drop the hammer. We need to get like a graphic. Every time Liam drops the hammer, we're just going to like phase it across the screen. Again, see, I get distracted. I have to like tell everyone to wrap, because if I don't, it'll in perpetuity go for like 22 more minutes simply because I don't know when to stop talking. Tomorrow, tune in. Altitude Adjustment, Mario Vitanzi, Patrick Coyote. We'll be back on Wednesday. Full Field Reese coming down the pike here. Joey Wins Buffs show.
We're going to try to aim for tomorrow and then Thursday. We'll let you know on Twitter. So
wonderful. Then we have post games coming for you, because that's what we do here. We talk some ball. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night and go Broncos.
Okay. Go Broncos. Travis Hunter 2020.